Gentlemen, you see what we got him to do? We got Staffy to admit that Bruno Fernandez is one of the best midfielders in the world. Thank you, Staffy.
I have never said he's a shit player. You just run this agenda of something that I've never said.
So
yes,
you
of course, if you would have won that,
he's one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. Then, yes.
Sure, we can say that based on his numbers. Sure.
Cool. That's
Why
what I
do you
want
to get rid of him then?
Where would you put him as a shit player? You will never catch me once on the terrace saying he's a shit player. I've never said that. And I've repeated myself way too many times.
Staffy, where would you rank him on the list, on your list, top 10?
Brother, we're dragging on a Bruno conversation that wasn't on the agenda today. It doesn't matter where I rank him, bro. It doesn't matter where I rank him.
You ranked number 10, bro.
We're gonna get. We got another tweet though. We're gonna go into. We're moving into. So we are gonna be talking.
Welcome to Staffy tweet. What is it? A straight fact show. That's what we're doing today. We're gonna go revisit all my tweets and talk about it today. So make sure you guys give me a follow while we're at it.
Yeah, Staffy tweeted and said, anybody that thinks Norgaard is a good signing, I think he said, not player, is a liar and disingenuous and fake, you basically said. So
we're into it today, bro. It feels like cool. This is feeling like cool, bro.
Yeah.
Terry's just firing bare charges at you, blood.
I want to understand because
you guys are the jury, you and Lawless.
Yeah, for me, I just look.
They're gonna decide if I'm guilty or not.
No, look, obviously this one was again before anyone in the trigger in the comment section who doesn't have friends gets sort of triggered because they don't understand the jovial nature. Because I even had to put this into the thread that we had together, where I was like, "You do know you're joking." I knew you knew that, but some people following the thread don't understand humor. But this is what you said. This is Staffy's words. Never trust a man that tells you Arsenal signing Norgaard is a good thing. They are lying to you and they know it. Explain that tweet.
That's exactly what I said. All right, we're getting into Norgaard now. All right, let's talk about this. Norgaard, decent player. Decent player. I don't have an issue with him. 11 million. What is it? 11 million euros? That means 9 million pounds. I think it's a cheap signing. It's not bad at all. But let's add the context around it. Let's talk about Arsenal's summer leading up to here. Who did they sign? Zubamendi. Decent signing. Big fan of Zubamendi. Replacing Partey. Such a shame. Partey has to go. Demanding so much money, but I had to go. Sucks. It is what it is. Now, Norgaard comes in and Kepa comes in. So far, your summer is Kepa, Norgaard, and Zubamendi. Only one of these signings is actually, I don't even want to say a needle mover, but it's a good signing. Zubamendi is one of the best players in his position in the world. We'll see how he adapts to the Premier League. Other than that, the summer's just been nothing. You're not addressing your main priorities. You're not going for the players that everyone, by the way, everyone who's going to sit here and going to cry and defend Norgaard, none of you guys spoke about Norgaard in the last couple of weeks. No one mentioned him going into the summer. No one mentioned him going into this season. And I'm talking about Arsenal fans specifically because they know their team needs. When you look at their needs, none of their major needs has been addressed. What are their major needs? An attacker, a left winger, arguably an attacking midfielder, which, by the way, good link with Eze. We'll speak about this later, and I'll actually give it some praise. Those three signings outside of Zubamendi, I'm not moved. Now, why am I not moved? Who are they competing with? They're not competing with me, because when I tweeted that, people were like, oh, but he gets in United's midfield. Who's talking about United? What does that have to do with United? Let's talk about who they're competing with. They're going head-to-head next season, supposedly going head-to-head next season to win the league. Against who? Against Liverpool and against City. Now, who did Liverpool sign in their midfield? Wirtz. Who was their starting 10? Szoboszlai. So Szoboszlai, who's already a very good player, a lot of people, maybe a few people don't rate him, but he's a very decent player. They have already a good midfield between Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. Then they add Wirtz on that. Then you go to City. Who does City have? Who does City sign this summer? Reinders, the best midfielder in Serie A. Who else? Ryan Cherki, who's been fair to him. The first game he kind of struggled in the Club World Cup, and then he's balling out the 2 second games. Who do they already have in that midfield? Rodri. These two teams, who I think have at least equally as good as a midfield that Arsenal had last season, if not better, added major improvements. And you are adding Norgaard. What does Norgaard even do? He's a ball winner. Fair to him. He's a leader. He's been in the Premier League. As I said, the signing in isolation is not that bad because 9 million for a player like him is not bad. But where did you move from here? Did your midfield all of a sudden become better than City and Liverpool? No. Did you buy a needle changer to come into this midfield and compete with Odegaard, who didn't even have a good season last season? A lot of Arsenal fans complained about him last season. No. Does he come in and do anything better than even Rice? What if Rice is just out injured or whatever? Do you put him in and he's better than him? No. So you sign a backup with another backup. I don't like that signing. You didn't sign someone to compete for the starting position. Because I'll tell you what, we'll come to January or February, and Arsenal are going to get, I'm not wishing obviously injury on anyone, but God forbid they get an injury in the midfield and they play Norgaard. Guess what the agenda is going to be for the remainder of the season? Oh, did you expect Arteta to win with Norgaard playing in his midfield? That's what's going to happen. And this is why when I look at these signings, especially that they didn't address their major issues and their major priorities, I don't rate it. If they would have signed a striker, a left winger, an attacking midfielder, and then this guy just, he's the condiments on the side, just nothing major. No one would be batting an eye. Their summer so far has been underwhelming. So
Norgaard's not a good signing because they haven't signed players in the order that you think they should have done.
No, it's because, as I said a lot of things before it. Because he doesn't come in and
let me boil it down though. So because I get a lot of what you're saying and understand it, but I just want to ask you a question as a host. So had they signed Gyökeres, had they signed Eze and Nico Williams already, and Zubimendi, and then added Norgaard as a backup, would your mindset be different?
And another midfielder. So I don't know if you just said Eze or not, but Eze, since he's the one that linked
maybe Eze,
they would sign Eze. I look at Eze as someone who starts in this midfield.
So if Arsenal did that and then they signed a fifth choice DM,
sure, because no one's gonna look at that signing and even care about it.
Cool. Okay.
No one wouldn't, but they did.
It's the order.
It's not the order, it's the priority.
It's what
they prioritize an attacking midfielder that come in and start in this team.
So your view is that the order of signings dictates the priority?
No. Okay, let me repeat this again. I compared it to Wirtz, I compared it to Reinders and Shirky, and now I'm comparing them to their midfield. Zubimendi cancels out Partey. I don't care about that. Let's put that on the side. Did they sign Norgaard to come in and compete with a starting position in this midfield? No. Does he get in this midfield? No. Does he improve this midfield? No. He's just a backup. You didn't really improve on last season, let alone get yourself on the same level as the Liverpool and Man City midfield. Therefore, I don't rate this signing. If you go ahead and you sign an attacking midfielder, I'm looking at it. You know what? Zubimendi and Eze, who cares about Norgaard? Yeah, he's just there to it's just an additional signing. Who cares about it? But they didn't. And I don't know if they will. So what if they don't, Terry?
That's what I was about to say.
Next season with this midfield, I don't rate it. Go ahead, Don.
No, that's what I was about to say, man. Because you already know what I've been saying about their midfield. You know what I mean? Like Norgaard, he's not a bad player. He's Premier League proven. He's like you said, he's a leader. He's good at breaking up play and whatnot. But if they're bringing in an Eze in that midfield, that's when you're like, okay, cool. They're trying to change up the dynamic of that midfield. But if they do bring in Eze, I don't see them bringing him in for the midfield anyway. Like, yes, he can play there. That's his best position, of course, for me. But they'll be looking to play him on the left, in my opinion. Because you're not going to move Rice out that 8. You're not going to move Zubimendi. And Odegaard starting is their captain. So what, you're going to bring in Eze to be on the bench? It's not happening, mate. He'll be on the left. He'll be on the left, bro.
100%. Yeah, I just look at the Norgaard thing. Like I said, there's people that was great business. I see a gal say, this is great business for 11 million. It's just one of them. It's a nothing signing, really. It's
No, sorry to interrupt you. You just said Igal, and you reminded me of a good thing. I purposely, you know what? it might sound like a little bit of a loser shit to do. To be fair, I had time. I went to Igal's Twitter on purpose, and I looked up certain players' names. I was like, I want to see how Igal reacted to every player being signed. I have never seen Igal disagree with a signing. This is why I can't take Igal too serious. If you're someone who's shown to at least be 50-50 on signings, a little bit more 60-40, 70-30, I'll be like, you know what? Fair enough. I have never seen Igal disagree with signing. Bro, it goes as bad as he tweeted about Sterling, saying Sterling is time to shine. This brother has a tweet of Sterling in an Arsenal kit saying Sterling is time to shine. How can I take Igal seriously when he didn't even disagree with the Sterling signing? Igao will go, bro. Igao will sell fucking salt to that
Lord.
snail and tell him he needs it.
But Staffy,
Igao
you're
is-
forgetting. He said he disagreed with the Madueke signing that Arsenal apparently made, and we were.
What a bad signing. I watched Madueke the other day. Madueke as a backup would be so good for Arsenal. That's the one signing wants to disagree with. Come on, man.
Yep. It's too funny.
There's got some of these comments that are coming in here. First one says, Jesus Christ, Staffy, this is one of the most clueless explanations I have ever heard. Norgaard does feel a squad player who replaces Jorginho.
It moves
I already
needle,
explained, so there's no point of repeating. Sure,
just
great. You replaced someone who played 700 minutes last season. What a great signing. Another ball winner, by the way. Never progressors, never attacking minded. It's all about winning the ball. What are we gonna do with the ball when we win it? No one knows. But let's just win the ball.
Now that midfield's getting exposed more and more. How long have I been talking about it? Look at it when you compare it to Man City and that. Chelsea, Liverpool's. Sorry, that midfield's meaty, bro.
Who's asking you to be moved? Signings of Kepa and Norgaard will probably not play any significant minutes. What are you doing very strategically is comparing City and Liverpool's main signings to our squad fillers.
No, what I'm doing is I'm comparing signings to signings. That's what I did. Because guess what? Birds go and sit at Liverpool.
People are asking in the chat, is the window closed? Okay. Do you believe that you're going to sign an attacking midfielder along with Eze? Because I don't think you're going to sign Rodrigo for me, right? I think he's probably going to stay. Eze's realistic, and I think you're going to play him off the left. So what attacking midfielder are you going to bring in? Because I don't see any of your starting midfielders being benched. Who are you going to bring in for backup? You tell us the names, bro, that you think you can bring in.
Sorry. There's a little spider
Do
on my...
you see Arsenal signing an attacking midfielder, Terry?
No, I think they could do with one, but I've always been under the what Fabrizio and I think Ornstein have said is they're looking at 3 attackers. So I think it really depends on what they do here. So a lot of Arsenal fans have said that Waneri is meant to be more central than wide. So if they do sign, say, Eze or Anthony Gordon or fucking Leao, Rodrigo, I think they may look at an attacking midfielder, but they're going to sign a striker. We'll touch on that in a minute. If they do get a backup for Saka, I think that will then see Waneri play more centrally. And if they're going to give him more game time centrally as an attacking midfielder, they may not necessarily need one because we all know that kid is really talented. So if they need a backup attacking midfielder that can challenge Odegaard's position, they might want to do it with him and then buy a backup to cover Saka's role. That's an option. What I would say is I have noticed a lot of people moving the needle on Arsenal's transfer window. All that was shouted about is they need a striker. Now everyone knows they're going to get a striker. It's they don't get an attacking midfielder, I'm going to slag off their summer. So I do think the striker is the most important position for them. I think left wing is the second most important position for them. I actually disagree. I do think it's an excellent little signing. But again, the word excellent triggers people because they think, well, I think Cherki was excellent and you can't compare the two. Well, that's because you're listening to the language as opposed to the framing. And for me, I think he's a really good Premier League player, Norgaard, for what he does. He's in the specialist role that he has. And I actually think if you look at the way Jorginho was being used, coming on in games sometimes when they're trying to stop conceding and see games out, that wasn't really Jorginho's speciality at his age. He was losing that physical battle. Norgaard's the opposite to that. So I think he'll have some really good games for Arsenal in that role, doing what he's a specialist at doing. So I don't see it as a bad bit of business. Equally, I won't judge the totality of Arsenal's window yet until it closes because it looks like they're doing the reverse maybe of Liverpool, which is signing a lot of the fringe players first and then moving on to the bigger targets later. The only time it becomes problematic for me with Arsenal is if they start going deep into their pre-season and the striker isn't there, the left winger isn't there, the potential new attacking midfielder's not there because you're not getting that early integration. Because I do believe Liverpool and Arsenal have a slight advantage over Chelsea and City going into next season, and that's that they have full pre-seasons where you guys have a bit of a broken one because of the World Club Cup. Personally, this here says that Staffy doesn't understand how transfers work. Clearly, chronological order does not correlate to priority. is what Sage Wayne says here.
If only I said the word chronological order, but I didn't. So yeah.
Jorginho played 700 minutes last season. Norgaard replaced him.
Great upgrade.
What Staffy is saying is exactly how I feel, is what D. King says here.
You're not allowed to feel like that, bro. I'm waffling. Can't feel that.
No guarantee Arsenal will sign any attackers. Well, I think the whole world, if they don't sign a winger or a striker, then I just don't. When you say there's no guarantee, I think it's as close to a guarantee as you can get in football that they're going to sign some attackers. I don't think anybody believes they're not going to sign attackers, personally, mate.